Page 108, Monday, 3rd of November, 1975, 12:10. For today the following recommendation shall be explained to you, which then says nothing other than, seventh recommendation, you shall not be robbing and not be expropriating, which, however, is then handed down to you, foreign of sense, as, quote, you shall not steal. Now behold, human being of the earth, contained for you in this recommendation is that which you do not have a right to do. Specifically, it is instructing you that you shall consolidate all values of the other recommendations into one, in order to act according to the determinations of the creation in every form. If, however, you transgress even in the smallest form one of the recommendations given to you, thus you also act against this recommendation according to spiritual values, because, in the first place, you thereby rob the recommendation of its determination as well as the creation itself, because through your law-breaching deeds, you expropriate it of its offered love that it has not only given you, but to everything, all, and anything. Therefore, however, you curtail and rob the ones next to you of that which is given to them as opportunity and duty, to always more closely learn about the creation and to come nearer to it. However, the love of the creation, which you, through your doings, rob those next to you of, is a common property for all life forms. Behold, human being of the earth, for this reason you shall make use of only that part of any love which you are entitled to by rights according to your desire for love, and which is also given to you through the following of the creationally given recommendations. Thereby, however, you have absolutely no right in any form to demand more than your due, as is given to you in a recommendation-based manner, and is awarded to you as an individual life form. Because the creation, through its unified, constant, and impartial love, has let all of its creations come into existence in order to let all life forms, simply through its love, to develop uniquely, constantly, and impartially on its own, which is intended to be the same since the beginning of their existence. Arisen out of creational love again and again are only creations and forms which have their existence only in the radiant light of its all-love and its being, Sun, and only through the entering into this creational power gleaming, they achieve the all-great, timely, and life-giving fire of love, through which each one in the entirety, as a belonging together, achieves permanence for all great times, in order to thereby pass over into the end goal of the highest, absolutely full development in union with the creation within the timeless being. Behold, human being of the earth, so it is likewise with you in the present time. Only then will you be able to achieve the creational, spiritual, absolutely full development, if you yourself adhere to the recognition and following of the given recommendations and laws, and thereby never and never allow a desire to awake within you to accept solely that alone, to recognize and to follow what the love of the creation desires of you through its recommendations. Behold, many trillions of years ago, the first creations of the creation arose from the radiating existence of its love. Thus, however, you too, human being of the earth, have stepped forth out of its creation light many millions of years ago in order to go your way as an autonomous Wesen in fulfillment of your mission. For many units of the great times you have circled through the universe in the most diverse forms, because nowhere have you yet found a resting place in order to find a lasting, blissful happiness and stillness, even only for a part of a unit of a second, according to your understanding. With the constantly renewing desire for destruction in yourself, through which, until now, you have senselessly and relentlessly fought the one with the other, you have pushed away the knowledge about the truth, and thus let yourself be beaten into servitude, in evil, spiritual or consciousness-based, impenetrable darkness. You have done so for many ages, and you have only very slowly worked yourself upward step by step, much slower than this was determined for you. Through your cultish religions you have let yourself be led into the confusion, and thus you have even hampered, and often even obstructed the way of your evolution. Thus it took a very long time until your evolution of the current standing was given, whereby you, now in the beginnings, can be offered again in a new form, the teaching of the Spirit, the creation, its love and truth, the wisdom, and the laws and recommendations. It has taken a long time up to the present, until you have reached thus far, that some of you show the longing for the truth of the creation, and all of its recommendations and laws, for they have begun to sense and feel that the instructive creation, and all of its all-great timely love, is nearer to them than they, until now, had been consciously, falsely led to believe this, by their unreal religions, in regard to their gods, tin gods, saints, and images of saints. And now, as you now have accepted within you these instructions in true love for the creation and the truth, you become, through the recommendations, the facilitator between knowledge and belief, and between truth and untruth. However, from the truth the love is created, and from the untruth proceeds all hatred and all unright, and so, because of the influence of the creation towards the good, a better streaming proceeded in you, so that now the love and truth of the creation and its recommendations and laws can be revealed to you as an individual, even if only in small numbers. Many millions of years have passed since your creation, without you having obtained the imposed upon you success in your evolution. And today, human being of Earth, you stand there, when you must recognize with sorrowful grief in which form the recommendations and laws of the creation, in their truth and determination, are to be valued, namely, solely and exclusively in love. But how few of you are striving to heed these recommendations, and to achieve their following, and how few amongst you are there who are even knowing that the creation itself has given all the laws and recommendations, manifesting them in the nature at all times, and making them recognizable to you. Many amongst you have fallen prey to the beliefs, and live in cultish religions, irrational assumptions, which remain unprovable, and thereby shut yourselves off from the truth of the creation itself. Even today, a vast number of you still believe that they, through their cultish religions, and through their own doings and abilities, have swung themselves aloft into the heights in order to stand above all others as supposed shining stars in their knowledge, which in truth is only irrational beliefs and untruth, in order to let themselves be worshipped in their spiritual or consciousness-based blindness. Since time immemorial, the creation has shown you the way which you have to go in order to attain the union with it in relative absolute fulfillment. Time and again, it has revealed it anew to you, and will also continue to do this in never and never-ending love, for so long until even the last of you has returned to it in relative absolute fulfillment. For you have arisen out of it in love in order to do justice to your task of the relative absolute fulfillment of yourself and the creation, and again you will return to it in realization of the relative absolute fulfillment in receiving love. But this is not possible, however, without the following of the laws and recommendations of the creation. For when the awake time of the creation must give way to the time of the slumber, and you, in this time, have not fulfilled your task of the relative absolute fulfillment, and of the return to, and into, the creation, then you fall into the all-great timely death being in an absolute elimination. Because one day, as the creation lies in its 7 great timely slumber, everything which has not become into the being within itself will extinguish and fall into the nothing. Therefore, pay attention to the recognition and following of the recommendations of the creation. This is also instructed to you through this recommendation. However, if you do not follow this, thus you rob the creation of your own existence, which nevertheless is part of the creation itself, and which is given to you only for the relative absolute fulfillment. Through the contempt of the recommendation, however, you also rob the life forms brought near to you of the power which is given to them for the duty fulfillment, in order to be able to reach the creation. However, you also even expropriate yourself of that power which is given to you, as a creation part for the fulfillment of your task, because through the non-following of the recommendation you lack the power for the looking after of your spiritual or consciousness-based impenetrable darkness, and thereby shut yourself off from all blissful happiness, until such time you finally attain the insight in order to fulfill each recommendation down to the smallest, with all diligence and all efforts in every moment of your existence. Consider, human being of the earth, the creation loves you, and therefore it must also be loved, because its love alone achieves the all-delighting union and absolutely full development. This is for you the explanation and instruction of the recommendation with the number 7. These are for you the 7 basic recommendations, out of which result all further recommendations and laws of the creation. In their entire value, they are specifiable by the number 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, which then, according to your understanding, says that the recommendations and laws in their entire number are 7 times 7, which each in their own denominations are divided into 7 times 7 sub-values and contain recommendations and laws in elaborations. Therefore, thus far, the 7 basic recommendations of the creation are stated to you. According to your circumstances, however, you are made knowledgeable in former times of yet further recommendations. Thus to you, the number of them amounted to 12. However, 2 of them were withheld from you by leaders of the people and cultish religious proclaimers. Thus, only 10 of them were handed down to you. So they are also referred here to you as Decalogue. However, since you require, in necessity, all recommendations given to you long ago, the 2 recommendations, which were maliciously withheld from you after the number of the 10, shall be named to you in their explanations and significance and instructions.